Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, here we are at game number 3 between DarKFoRcE and MMA. This time we are here on Tal'Darim Altar, and MMA quite handily winning the first 2 games. So hopefully DarKFoRcE is able to come back in this series and get himself back in the game now. Last game, really nuts harass that we saw from MMA. He opened up with the 2 racks, a little bit of pressure there, really wasn't much. Biggest thing for him, though, was that he followed up going straight stim marine drop, and that could have, in all honesty, been very dangerous. We could have seen a strong roach push and speedling from DarKFoRcE, and that would have done very well against just those early game marines. But DarKFoRcE decided, he came out with that third expansion, and that is something that MMA did manage to scout. But we saw a quick stim marine drop from MMA, and the first drop was devastating. DarKFoRcE lost so much, losing the Baneliness and the Spire, and then we saw additional drops, and then we saw, DarKFoRcE losing his third expansion, and in all this time, DarKFoRcE didn't respond with any aggression. And that's really the problem. Obviously when you're dealing with constant aggression, you have to be able to defend yourself, right? I mean, that's priority numero uno. Like, you have to make sure you don't die to whatever aggression's coming, be it drops, cloaked unit harass, banshees, DTs, whatever type of harass you're dealing with at any point at your expansion to your main. Clearly you have to defend that. But you also have to make sure that you're doing damage too, because you can't just leave your opponent alone. You can't just let them sit nice and comfortably in their base. And that's what happened last game. DarKFoRcE, he just wasn't able to respond at all. He didn't get the chance to push out with any mutas and do any counter harass. And because of that, MMA, he was comfortable in his base. Nothing was happening. He didn't have to divert his attention at all to defend himself. And he put 100% of his energy into macroing and the drop harass and everything that he was doing to DarKFoRcE. And that's a great position to be as an aggressor, most certainly. So, DarKFoRcE this game going hatch first. He has got the extractor coming up before that pull. Keep in mind, this will allow him, he's going to be able to start saturating this extractor right away. This allows him to get that metabolic boost incredibly fast, get those speedlings on the board, and this will give him some early game map control, hopefully provide him with some very nice scouting abilities as well. MMA, a little bit different this time around. You can see he doesn't have the 2 racks pressure coming out, and instead we'll be going straight into a factory, and there it is right now. So we can see right now, getting that refinery nice and saturated, allowed him to move right into that factory. And pretty interested to see what MMA ends up deciding to do this game. This is obviously a stark cry. It's much different than what we've seen him do the first 2 games, always opening up with at least that 2 racks pressure, or at least showing the 2 racks. But this time, just showing that 1 racks, moving straight up to that factory will be some sort of a techie build. Interesting to note that he still is just on that 1 refinery, so nothing too heavy. Cloaked Banshees, not going to be the case right now. He would have to have gotten that 2nd refinery by now to be able to push out with something like that and any sort of effectiveness, So metabolic boost coming out right now for DarKFoRcE at the moment. Just going to be getting those 4 Zerglings, and that's all he needs early game. Hopefully will allow him to deny this SCV scout. Should be able to get a couple shots there. Some nice micro of that SCV, though, from MMA, allowing him to actually sneak it up into the main base, and he's going to see, okay, no one's on the gas, there's no mining going on at all, and there's no Roach Warren, no Baneliness, nothing crazy at all. So now he knows exactly what DarKFoRcE is doing. So just a couple of Zerglings, again, sticking with those 4 early game, that's all he needs. Finally able to actually work up and get a nice and comfortable economy going. And look at this, we've got that expansion coming out. Also, those Blue Flame Hellions. So MMA will be moving out with some Blue Flame Hellions as well as that Expo. And there you go. That's all there is to say about that. That is his plans for the early game transition. Really all sorts of possibilities. Just a little bit of micro allows him to actually have no problem against those unupgraded Zerglings. Once we see that metabolic boost come through, though, the Hellions need to be very careful because they can get surrounded, those speedlings, a little bit faster, allowing them to get us around and actually prevent those Hellions from microing away. And oh no, taking a couple shots there. MMA not paying attention just momentarily, and unfortunately as a result, took a little bit of damage there to that Hellion. Zergling scouting out this 3rd expansion. He wants to see 2 things. 1, obviously, if an Expo happens, but also a drop likely to move in this angle here, so this would allow him to spot that as well. So very nice positioning of that Zergling. Clearly not at this point in the game MMA would be dropping, but actually looks like he will just be using that for secondary scouting. Just seeing, hey, where's that expansion? Let me see if I can check any production buildings. And look at that, MMA just barely out of the vision with those production buildings. He's got heavy racks follow up here. Starport just about to finish, and I believe we've got 3 Hellions. Do we have 3 on the board? I see the 2 here. I thought there was a 3rd. I'm guessing I was incorrect, though. Is one of these getting repaired? Yeah, okay, so this is the one that was out on the map, and that did get repaired with the 2 kills. He's probably going to wait for those 3 or 4. He might be able to get that 4th one out by the time the medevac finishes. Looks like the medevac will be waiting around just a little bit, just momentarily, but the big thing is that he's got a Blue Flame Hellion drop planned. And DarKFoRcE, what do you got going on? Baneling Nest coming on through. Metabolic Boost is finished. We don't have a Roach Warren or anything like that. Evolution Chamber here at the front. Going to cut back on any possible Hellion Harass moving in from the front, but we are knowing the fact that there's a medevac coming with us as well. So there's the medevac. Hellions first grabbing the tower, then pushing back, and the Zergling immediately following up with vision of the tower, realizing those Hellions aren't staying there. And is this going to be a drop or going to be a Marine Hellion push? There's 2 different possibilities, and it looks like it's actually just going to be a Marine drop. Very interesting. He does not have stim for those Marines, those Hellions. Okay, there we go. Finally seeing those Hellions move forward to engage as well. So here comes the push right now for MMA, and DarKFoRcE is scouting it. He is fully aware that this is coming with that Zergling scout. He sees the medevac. He also sees those Hellions. Now, vision of the high ground allows those Hellions to protect those Marines that are getting dropped up there, and with some good micro, MMA should be okay. There we go, dropping down 1 or 2 at a time and letting those Hellions just completely work. Oh my gosh, completely work those Zerglings. Those Hellions getting so many kills there. 8 for that, 4 for that one, 2 for that one. Hellions doing a fantastic job of mopping up those Zerglings as they attempted to take care of those Marines that were being dropped 1 at a time by MMA. Pretty nice, pretty impressive there. And then we'll just be following up immediately with that Blue Flame Hellion drop, going to be going straight up into the main. You can see right now he's moving across. We'll try to be circumventing any overlords, and actually look at this. DarKFoRcE is prepared for this coming right now. So here comes a drop. Now DarKFoRcE should see this with his overlords. Yes, he's fully aware, but these Hellions right now in the main, and this is a problem right now for DarKFoRcE. Again, no counter aggression at all. He's just been on the defensive this entire series, and it looks like that is continuing to be the case. And the Hellions doing so much damage to these Feelings and Banelings. Need to be careful though. Ooh, that medevac pretty low. If that had gotten a little bit too close to that Queen, could have sniped that out quickly, but obviously MMA, fully aware that that was coming, was able to respond in time. Here comes a follow-up push as well. After doing a bit of economic damage, let's see, killing off a total of 6 workers. But really, in all honesty, we take a look at the total resources lost, and you can see how far behind DarKFoRcE is. One Baneling popping there on that Hellion. Hellion is still alive, though. And here comes a strong push right now by MMA. Does he have Siege Tech? Yes, Siege Tech just about finished right now, so he will be able to get that up. Siege up here in the low ground, and then continue his push up high. And here it comes very, very soon. Siege Tech done. Siege up on the low ground. Vision of the high ground here with this medevac. And this is a very dangerous spot right now for DarKFoRcE. He needs to try to overcome this as much as possible. Those tanks need to get taken out by those mutas. And there we go. This is what we need to see here from DarKFoRcE. Try to take out those tanks and prevent the shelling of your expansion. Marines pushing forward, though. No stim, just a combat shield. This is a pretty devastating looking push right now. Marines will be dropping on the high ground to help add some more protection for those tanks against those mutas. And there we go, shredding through the mutalisks. And the Queen gets dropped as well. And this is such a tough situation. DarKFoRcE finally getting some more Spielings and Banelings, but I mean, what is he gonna do? Just the 1 tank, but still, it's enough. Knight's gonna kind of wedge it right there in the corner, getting it as close to this expansion as possible, and that is just close enough. We'll allow him to shell out on that Expo, and here we go. Finally, DarKFoRcE pushing down those Banelings, though nowhere near those Marines, hiding nice and safely in the background, and the splash damage of the tanks taking out those Banelings. All the Marines are okay. This expansion still at risk right now. DarKFoRcE, he really looks like he's going to lose a game, and there it is. DarKFoRcE calling the GG. So there you go, guys. Game number 3. That was actually the final game in the series here between MMA and DarKFoRcE. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the series. MMA just proving how strong of a player he is with the constant aggression that we've been seeing in all 3 games. Actually, no, never mind. The first game wasn't really constant aggression. He kind of just macroed up and faked aggression. But these past 2 games, continuous aggression from MMA, so very impressive. And really nothing DarKFoRcE could have done about it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. You have been enjoying these commentaries. As always, if you like the content, I hopefully humbly request that you subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned tomorrow for some more content for StarCraft 2. Quite possibly going to be seeing some Diablo 3 content as well this week, so stay tuned for that. As always, guys, if you like everything, subscribe to the channel. I already said that. Thanks again for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.